Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you are out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the returning Goon Squad. I am, Bobby Phins talk, as you normally would know me. There's Alex Atia Chiska.
Yes.
Courtney Dolphin 72 in the house. She doesn't just talk Dolphins. She talks everything. And, of course, the one and only Goon Squad OG, Neil, in the house. What's up, fellas? And miss. We'll let Courtney go first. Courtney.
Yes, please.
How are you?
I'm good. I think we all just came from basketball games, or most of us. It's like a full basketball night.
It's a real basketball day. You came from a basketball game. I came from basketball practice. Alex,
Actually,
Neil.
I actually have my day off. This is the first day. This is the first day in like 6 days that has no basketball activity for me right now. And then tomorrow we're back at it.
Neil, how you doing, brother, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm watching the Heat right now. We're down, not out. We'll see how the game finishes up. I also purchased tickets to the Dolphins game in Kansas City.
What?
I will be lower level, wearing a lot of layers in that.
I was here. Did you saw those prices drop, man?
Dude, I got a ticket for $88 lower level.
What?
Ooh.
Bob, how far are you driving distance away from Kansas City?
I'm just going to freeze, but it's fine because at least I'll be I'm row 25. That's pretty good,
That's amazing.
That's awesome, dude.
I could have got row 2 for 200, but I didn't think I could see over the linemen, so I didn't really want to do that.
Smart move, man. That must be insane, bro. What an experience. You're literally going to freeze your ass off.
Dude,
but
it might be one of the coldest games in NFL history, and, I'm going to be wearing this balaclava, and, I got a massive Dolphin starter jacket from my dad from the 80s.
Oh.
Hand warmers, gloves, double socks, long johns, scarf, earmuffs, hat, baklava, all of it.
He'll be. We talked about it earlier. He's going to be reporting live on pregame on the Phins Talk Sports pregame show from Arrowhead. So it's going to be great.
Dude. Awesome.
I'll try to pop in for a little bit. Don't know what the Wi-Fi will be like, but I'll try.
Yeah, maybe for a little bit.
Neil, when we win, we need a live reaction from you with all the Dolphins fans out there.
Dude,
we're going to win. I'm telling you. We're going to win that game.
My wife and son, because she's pregnant, and it would harm the baby, the cold.
Congrats, man. By the way, I didn't know that. Congrats.
I'm doing by myself, but I'm going to try to meet up with some Dolphins fans out there, and, let's go.
Let's go,
roll, brother. Well, hey, listen, man. We're here to talk some Miami Heat. We're going to have – I see Manny already, a Bearded Fanatic, is in the house. His brother, Danny, will be joining us of the Battered Heat fans. He'll be coming here around 10 o'clock Eastern time to talk Miami Heat. Obviously, the Heat right now down by 12. It's 112 to 6 minutes, 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Let's take a look at this. Let's go through the scores very quick. Nikolai having a great game, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Bam Adebayo with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Tyler Hero, 17. Highsmith, 19 points.
That's
Jamila's in the house. What's up, Jamila? Jaime has 12. Man. Love it. Let's see how Chet Holmgren is doing. 16 points. Alexander, 21 points. And Jalen Williams, 19 points. My goodness, that's a game, dude. That's a fun game.
And OKC, it's already top of the Western Conference. and OKC can still make a move whenever they want. They have their homegrown talent. I'm telling you, OKC and Orlando in both conferences are going to be nice for a while. They're built for long term.
You know, I sent the and I didn't send it to Neil, but I know I know Neil could talk off the cusp, and I just remembered that I didn't send it to him, so I apologize. I didn't send you the outline, but this wasn't on the outline anyway, so I'm going to start with this.
Go ahead.
A name. You know, I really didn't have a trade topic on here tonight. You know, because it's been said that the Heat are pretty comfortable. It's conflicting reports. One report is saying that the Heat is completely comfortable with what they have, and if they were to make any move, it'd be a small move. But I think was it Stein? I'm forgetting his first name.
Stein.
Mark Stein came out and said that an NBA insider say no, the Miami Heat are heavily interested in Donovan Mitchell. So, Alex, I'm going to leave you for last on this one because I know you've had plenty to say, but I'm going to end with you. But I'm going to start with Neil. Neil. Look, the Heat right now, they're 21-15, could be 21-16 after this game. Either way, they're right there. They're the 5th, 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, which is pretty freaking close. I mean, 1 through 8 is tight in the East. But, you know, Donovan Mitchell, great player. If it was to go down, I would be happy with it, obviously, because we know how great but it's what you have to give up. Would you be willing? Would you like the Heat to make a move for Donovan Mitchell? How would he fit with this team, and what would you be willing to give up for Donovan Mitchell?
You know, I don't really think I'd be willing to give up a lot for Donovan Mitchell because I don't think this team needs Donovan Mitchell. I think this team, once Jimmy Butler comes back, you know, and who knows what we'll get out of Kyle, but once Jimmy Butler comes back and, you know, is able to get in a groove with these guys, I think it's going to be fine. I agree with you. I think the standings are so close right now, and I still think we match up pretty well with the top seeds in the Eastern Conference right now. I still think we're really competitive with them. I mean, Donovan Mitchell would be nice, but what are we giving up? I mean, you know, Jaquez is untouchable, right? You know, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Caleb Martin, you know, so I mean, I guess if somebody wants Caleb Martin, maybe I'd give up Caleb Martin in a trade for Donovan Mitchell. I don't know. Jovic, I don't know. I mean, Jovic he's improving, you know, but okay, I guess Jovic could be in that too, you know. But other than that, you know, like I don't think I'd give up anybody else, you know, and that's not going to do it for Donovan Mitchell. So, okay, I guess no Donovan Mitchell.
Right? And so that's my thing. What are you going to give up for him? This team right now without Jimmy, look, you know, even though they're losing right now, think about the way this team has been playing, the way they've been, the chemistry. The only players that I could see that I would be just willing to even consider moving at this time would be someone like a Caleb Martin or a Kyle Lowry maybe. But even then, it's kind of a stretch. Courtney, same question. Your thoughts?
I'd give up Lowry in a heartbeat. Go be wishy-washy with another team. I don't like Lowry.
It's just personal.
Everybody she doesn't like is personal. It's like, what did they do to you? Like,
I don't. Yeah, don't get. I'm Italian. Don't get on my bad. When you're on my bad side, you're done. Like, there's no comeback. I don't know what Lowry I'm gonna see, and I don't like the inconsistency that I feel like he plays with. I think he's hot and cold. So I'll take Donovan Mitchell over Lowry. I wouldn't get rid of Caleb Martin. I think that he was pretty crucial in the playoffs last year. Obviously, I wouldn't touch Duncan Robinson. There's nobody else I would give up with Kyle Lowry.
What if it was straight shot Duncan Robinson for Donovan Mitchell? Straight shot makes the deal. No. Would you do it?
No. Duncan Robinson's my ex. No, absolutely not.
Straight up shot. Like, you know Donovan's better than Duncan, right? Overall. You want to do it?
No, he's not.
He's not?
I'm committed to Duncan Robinson. Absolutely not.
Gosh.
That's personal. That's personal as well.
Dude, I tell you, bring up Eli Apple, it's the end of the world. Vic Fangio, you're done, bro. You go to Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry, get his Dunkin' Donut. You know, she's like all out. Like, damn.
I'm out of Lowry. I'm in on Duncan Robinson. I'm still trying to figure out a way when the Heat come up here and I'm going to the game, like how I can get that.
Just stand on the court.
I'm just slide my way over there real quick.
To that bench. Let me know the dates, Court. I might be able.
Heat Sixers, Valentine's Day. I will be there. I have 6
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Okay. I'll try to get back to you. I might be able to pull a few little, just a little bit.
Here's a heartstring. It's my 6-year-old's first ever basketball game.
Oh.
Okay. All right. There we go.
That's petty, Courtney. How dare you?
I'm trying to convert him to the Heat. He loves the Heat.
Okay.
Ever basketball game.
I'll see what I can do. I might be able to arrange a meet and greet with Kyle Lowry just for your son and yourself.
I love how that turned around.
I'll step on Lowry to get to them.
Let me just step over you for a second.
Oh man.
We're on Groupon, starting at $22. Just if anybody wants to go to this game. Sixers Heat, I got 6 tickets for $45 each.
Damn.
What?
Damn.
Are the tickets that cheap over there, or just because it's the date?
The Sixers.
It's the Sixers.
Eagles tickets.
And they're winning. It's like that's crazy.
Eagles tickets are expensive as hell, and Flyers tickets are are decent, but the cheapest tickets, $22 if you want to go to a Sixers game.
Wow.
And so
That is.
I spent less than $300 for 6.
I can't even go to a Panthers game here in Florida for that price.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like
you can get Spurs tickets right now for $5.
That is
I'm not
insane,
even
man.
kidding. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When it comes to ticket prices, and I know it's off topic, but I remember I used to go to Marlins game and pay like $2 or $3 for tickets and go from the upper deck and just sit in the lower bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we were frying out there.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
damn.
no, I was like, oh, the Heat and Sixers are playing. Like, let me see what the tickets are like. And I was like,
Cheap.
oh, got them 6.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So, Alex, I know
Yes,
last
sir.
year, even a couple of years ago, you were high on Donovan Mitchell when the Donovan Mitchell talk was going on before he was traded to Cleveland. That was one of the players that you were advocating for because of what he can do with Bam Adebayo, that type of chemistry in his relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand right now on that topic, on that thought process? And I know what we're not really wanting to give up, but if you were making that deal, how far would you go before you say, oh, I gotta hang up the phone?
Well, to be realistic and to give a little backstory to what we talked about, Donovan Mitchell, when it was almost a foregone conclusion he was going to be traded to Miami at the time, I would say 2 years ago. Even he thought he was either going to Miami, New York. It was a type of situation where a team that had the assets and really is not a sexy destination would swoop in and try to convince him to play or to extend. Now, the moment that it comes that he's not going to extend, and obviously it's an unspoken rumor, but he's not going to extend there. So they're going to try to get as much as they can from any destination that they're willing to ship him to. Where I stand now is not where I stand before. Before, and I was on the edge because I still didn't want to move Hero before. Now for sure, I'm not moving any of my core pieces. I'm not moving Bam. I'm not moving Hakes. I'm not moving Hero. I'm not moving Jovic for no one right now. I mean, I know I say for no one, but obviously some names might move that. The reason I say that is because Mitchell can send you over the second apron. So this is the situations where it becomes also monetary, the economical side, the business side of basketball, where how am I going to extend Caleb Martin? At what price tag am I going to extend Caleb Martin? Because, pardon me, the Kyle Lowry contract comes off the books this year. So that is a space that even if we're a taxed team, we are below the second apron. We can use our exceptions. We can do sign and trades. So do I think this team is willing to go beyond the second apron for a guarantee of like a Donovan Mitchell? Probably. They might entertain that, but the max that I will go, and I know it's not going to be of any significance for people, but I would probably go. I would all my first round picks, they can have them, and Kyle Lowry's salary to match. and maybe Caleb Martin. Like that is my because I'm not even moving Robinson. Like I'm not gonna move Robinson because right now even I'm not even Robinson as a player. His contract is a bargain in this coming years. When we talked about this, man, he's an expiring deal probably in is it 2 years or a year from
Yeah.
now? 2 years. So those financially and production, it makes no sense to me. Now, would I not entertain trying to acquire Donovan Mitchell? Yes, I'm going to entertain it because I'll be doing a disservice to my franchise if I don't see the option of acquiring a arguably top 10, 15 player in the NBA that can still play with the core that you have. So realistically, they're going to ask for Hawkins. They're going to ask for Jovic. But I generally don't believe, and I know we're going to talk about it later on with this extension, with Spo's extension, there is a value to that you can tell the direction of the team. You can see who the loudest voice is going to be in that room. There's a commitment to what we have. And when we've talked about it, and I'm not going to get too much into it, so we can talk about it later in the show, but that would be my limit there. I'm not going to trade my pieces for Donovan Mitchell. And that's nothing against Donovan Mitchell. He's still, like I said, top 10, 15 player in this league. But I do believe he might be convinced to make a commitment. I can see the Knicks going all in, with whatever they have left in regards to assets, because the OG trade, I think it was an even trade, the OB, but he's made a difference for the Knicks. His plus minus is like 120 or 130 in 3 games, and you can tell why they make that move. So he can be convinced to go to one of these teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if OKC tries to swoop in there or Orlando tries to swoop in there. But you need a commitment from Mitchell to do those trades. You need a commitment from him.
And it's a great point. And like you look at like Miami's situation, you look at OKC, you look at Orlando. Orlando is, man, what an exciting time for Magic fans. The way they've been playing that roster, Paolo, those guys. Then you're like, man, what are you willing to give up to get Donovan? Like, and how does that mess up the flow of your team? I mean, I think Orlando for Donovan Mitchell makes a lot of sense because that would elevate them, kind of, the way Jimmy helped Miami. Just going to say this very quick. Miami now, I believe, is 7 points down with 1 minute, 8 seconds remaining, 126 to 119.
Yeah. They just started the fourth quarter horrible. They were done. Yeah. OKC started on a 13-0 run, man.
So,
that killed them.
Adebayo is right now at a double-double, 27 points, 11 rebounds. Mm-hmm. Tyler Hero, the Heat just got a bucket. So it's 6 points now with 1 minute and a second remaining. So we have free throws. Tyler Hero, 17 points. 19 points for Highsmith, 21 points for Jaquez, 15 points for Nikolai, and Duncan Robinson with 24 minutes. Duncan Robinson with 24 minutes in the game has 3 points.
There you go.
That is a difference maker.
That's just stats, man. It's gravity, bro. The gravitational pull.
Listen.
Don't listen to them, Courtney. They're just hate.
When I saw that, I was like going like this. Yes.
Well, 3 point spots in the league and let me know where Duncan lands there.
Damn, girl, I was just making a joke. You take it all serious. But I got you. My bad. Jaquez, Jr., Jovic, Bam, Lakers. Heat received LeBron, Darvin Ham, Bronny James. All right, 4-2-3-2-3.
I love that he put Darvin Ham with 2 M's, like if he's John Ham's brother. it's just 1 M, just Hamon.
Oh man, we're gonna touch on that, and I, touch on this Heat game right now, Alex. You've seen the way Bam's been playing. Absolutely. Again, huge advocate. We both love Bam coming out. We're excited about that, but you've been a strong advocate. But that's the one guy that since the beginning you're like, we're not trading him. We can't trade him. Kevin Durant was a different story because that's the type of player that you know what you got to give up. But that's a very rare case. Giannis is like a rare case. Bam Adebayo, what you've seen from last year to this year, the growth he's had and the way he's playing right now, what stands out to you?
Oh, well, I mean, it's something that, for example, I don't want to. I want to make sure I sound very humble in this because I don't want it to come out the wrong way. I please don't mistake this as I told you so. No. I feel it. No, and it's not. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and it's not like you need validation or anything. But I'm not surprised because I saw the same thing with Bam And that's the same thing I saw with Jovic when we got him as 19, and you brought him to our attention. You were the one that like, yo, Alex, look at this kid's footage. And when I saw him, and I'm like, oh my god, bro, he's perfect for Bam. And for the past couple of years, and I think it goes on record, I've said that the best position for Jovic to continue to develop is playing next to Bam in the starting unit. I know he was 19, he was only 20, but now he's getting to the point where his defense has improved dramatically. His on-ball defense, his team defense, he's knowledgeable of the game, and he pushes pace for you. Like there's no person in the Heat that pushes pace more than him and Hawkes and Hero when they get on the roll. But I mean, this game shows the the diversity you have when you have Bam out there, because Bam could run the point for you. Bam is arguably your most important player. He's your best defender. He's arguably the best defender in the league. He's not going to get recognition for it. Like Eric Spoelstra's not going to get a Coach of the Year award. I mean, he might eventually get one, but when you have Bam there, it opens up so many possibilities where you do not need a defined role for basketball players. You don't need a true point guard. You don't need a true small forward. You can actually play positionless. He gives you so much versatility with the people that you can surround him with. And the more he's your anchor defensively, he triggers everything for you offensively. And when you have Nikola there, and I do believe that Spo might do this. When Jimmy comes back, leave Jovic starting in that role as the four. But you have so much depth that even the question you asked us before, this is when you might give up Caleb Martin, because you have Highsmith, you have Jamal Cain, you have, and talking about shooter, Courtney, you might love this one, Cole Swider. Is his name Cole Swider?
Cole Swider,
Was it Cole? And
Cool.
Alondas Williams, and he just put up 55 points. Like, we continue to find these guys that Caleb Martin might be an exception where you extend him. Highsmith might be an exception, but you might see a few of these players down the line come and go within the core of Hero, Hawkes, Butler, Bam, and Jovic as Butler goes into retirement. And I messaged the other day, I really genuinely believe that people didn't expect for this team to have more success in Jimmy's older years. People thought that we had to maximize this window that we had with Jimmy at 31, 32, and oh yeah, trade all in, trade Bam. No, man, relax. Jimmy will probably win his first championship when he's 36, 35, 36. Like, this is where this is going. So I might be wrong. Like I said, I might be wrong, but I do think that part of the commitment that comes from Spo and the stability, not only on your coaching staff, but is also a stability on the vision of the team, on where this team is going. And you have four pieces under the age of 26 that you have a core that for 5, 6, 7 years. Look at the Cavs. Cavs went all in on Mitchell. Cavs had a young core. That core, obviously, with Mobley healthy is different. But that core's window, all of a sudden, if they move Mitchell, depending on what they acquire in return, that core's window was pretty small. And they're still young. So the NBA is moving parts. Not everybody's going to be the Magic and the Thunder that have the blueprint to be competitive until they have to start paying some guys max money. And then you start seeing them make moves. I mean, OKC already did this with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook. And I'm pretty sure they had to do it again. They would have found a way to extend Harden, because that was a nice core too, even with Serge Ibaka. So that's the beauty of the NBA. But with the way it is right now, and because of the tax implications, you're going to see a lot of teams build through the draft, through unrestricted free agency, around their 2 or 3 max players. So having Bam there gives you the connections. He becomes your post Jimmy, because everybody loves Bam. And I was actually telling to one of my players, and I'll end it here real quick. I'm like, as a basketball player, one of the best things you can have is the notion that people want to play with you, because you could be a great basketball player, you can be a hooper, but if no one wants to play with you, people are not going to make those sacrifices. People are not going to go that extra mile, and people want to play with Bam because it makes their game easier. and Spo's going to make your game easier, and it's going to come easy for you. So Bam to me is one of your Heat lifers. He is the extension of Udonis and Wade all mixed together, and Zoe. So that's how I see Bam. And Pat has said this when we drafted Bam about jerseys in the rafters. I believe he said that about Hero. Or did he say about Hero? He said about Jovic. One day that's gonna there's little keys that
Yeah, he
know
said
what
that
they
about
see.
Bam, and he said that about Jovic.
About
He
Jovic,
said- yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I mean, I genuinely believe, and like I said before, I would have never traded Bam only for Giannis. I mean, now probably people talk about Wembanyama, but I would have never traded Bam for Kevin Durant, and I still to this day stand firm on that. Even if it would have been a complete mess up, I still wouldn't move Bam because you just see so much value in him. Not only as a player, also as a person. He's going to carry your franchise with a culture.
So you brought this up a little earlier. It's funny because it was Jovic and Jaime, and I'm saying now it's like I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, man, I said if Alex and I had a team, he would be the one who handled the undrafted guys because you always have those eyes, Swider and those other guys. You're like, dude, watch this kid, watch Highsmith, watch these guys. And I'm the one, the last 2 years I got the draft picks. So I was like, man, if I was having a team because the 2 years in a row and Neil was there, I was like, dude, Jovic is the guy. And you guys were like, let me take him out. Remember, I got you guys sold on him in that draft. And then it was Jaime, and I was like, I'm not so sure. Now you look at both of them. If I was running a team right now, dude, I'd be executive of the year, brother. With those draft picks. Hell yeah, boy. Anyway, pat myself on the back, you know what I mean? Anyway, man, all right. So talking about, well, again, the game's ended 128 Thunder, 120 Miami. Heat dropped 21-16. But what a game. Again, Adebayo finished with that 27-11, 17-5 for Tyler Highsmith, man, 19-5. Highsmith is such, and that's another guy, Alex, that we've talked about. But watching him, I mean, I saw him in the playoffs because last year, again, you have somebody like Bobby Highsmith needs to be really well. And what he did in the final, I mean, defensively, offensively, and now seeing where he's coming to.
I love it,
dude. Man, and the hang with the Thunder, who are on the top of the conference, I think, or is it still Minnesota?
I think they're 1 and 2.
Of course, Alexander had 28 points.
Dude, he's so good.
Dude, Holmgren had 23 points. Jaime finished with 21. I love Jaime, man.
And people have talked about like LeBron, when LeBron retires, like the face of the NBA. And remember we talked about that one day, and we never actually brought it up on the show. But SGA was one of my options. He's one of the most complete players. And obviously I love Anthony Edwards and obviously Wembanyama because of the commercial aspect of it. But SGA is one of those, I can be the face of the NBA because of his overall talent.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he sticks it out in OKC, man.
Hey, that'd be good to see. All right. So big news broke yesterday for Miami, though. Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat agreed to an extension, 8 years, $120 million, big time extension. Courtney, I'll start with you. How do you feel about this move? And hey, is it deserved?
Yeah, absolutely, it's deserved. I'm happy. I think the best part of the story is that they waited till he divorced his ex-wife. I'm sorry, that was the best part.
No.
Because that's everywhere.
Man, Courtney's a savage, dude. Like she got no chill, did she?
Russell Wilson did the same thing with the Seahawks. Listen, protect your wealth. I'm all for it. I think I couldn't imagine the Heat doing as well as they do, developing the talent that they do with anybody but him. I don't think that any coach could just come in and take these guys, take this team, and they want to play for him. They want to do well for him. He has a mind to make it work and to, put the players where they need to go and adjust what needs to be adjusted. And he just has a great vision of the team. And I think there was no other option. I think that it was a phenomenal choice. And I think he absolutely deserved it.
That's awesome. And let me just go ahead. We got our second guest with us right now, Danny of the Battered Network, Battered Heat fans show, Battered Herons, which is Inter Miami, Battered Phins fans. This guy is a Battered fan, but he's here. He's ready to go. And I love that damn T-shirt he's wearing too. I saw that the other day, and I was like, man, I got to get that one. But let me go ahead and do this, and I'm gonna.
Oh,
bam!
That's a big screen. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Man, it was.
I'm sure bros like Goya.
It's the adobo.
Yeah.
That's
you
perfect.
guys
What's
doing?
up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, living the dream. I just got done with the Battered hair on, so I jump in on now. Sorry it took so long. We usually run 45 minutes, but it's a lot going on. Season's about to start for anybody that's Inter Miami fan.
Yes, and they just signed a MLS former champion, right?
Yeah, Julian Gressel. Yeah, right back. And there's a big signing coming in the next couple of days also straight out of Argentina. So big things happening if you like soccer for sure.
There you go. Oh, man. So listen, I'm going to leave you right there. This screen really is for whoever's talking at that time.
I got you. Okay.
So we just touched on this. So I'm going to get your take very quick.
Right.
It wasn't on the docket, so forgive me. I did it to Courtney too. But, there's some conflicting reports about the Heat with trades. One report says Heat are comfortable with what they got. If they made a move, it's going to be a small deal. Then you get another one from Mark Stein today saying the Heat are really interested in Donovan Mitchell. My question for you, what are your thoughts on Donovan Mitchell trade, and what would you be willing to give up for him?
I hate to answer a question with a question, but do you think that Jimmy Butler needs to be healthy in order for Donovan Mitchell or any team to succeed? Because I don't really know about Jimmy Butler's health right now. I think that's a big concern for me because I know that he goes down often and we just want playoff Jimmy, but he said that he still can't jump or walk without pain and he's still not running around. And when I heard that, I was like, really? And then he also said that when he initially got injured, that he thought initially that it was going to be a lot worse than it ended up being. So to me, I'm in a win now mode, and I think Donovan Mitchell is win now. But if Jimmy Butler isn't around for that, I don't know if you want to sacrifice Jaime because Jaime's going to have to go in that trade. Tyler's going to have to go in that trade. So would you be up for trading those two pieces?
Now, Jaime.
Not me either. I think Jaime is a diamond in the rough.
Yep.
Which constantly gets found by the Miami Heat. So I personally, I'm not sure if I want Donovan Mitchell right now. Maybe if I thought that they were a Donovan Mitchell away from winning a championship, but I don't know if they are. I kind of like the group that they have developing right now.
So pretty much the consensus of what we all said, because we all know how good Donovan Mitchell is, and if it went down, I'm sure every Heat fan would be excited, But it's like, what are you going to give up for him, And now that you've got I don't even want a sample size of what Jovic is doing right now, what Jaime is doing right now, even what Tyler is, what he's been able to do. It's hard to say I'm going to let that go for this guy. Because those three guys or those two guys, it's hard to give them up for that guy. How much does Donovan Mitchell move the needle for the Heat if they lose those core guys? So it's pretty much a consensus. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the beauty of the Heat is that they're always in it. Like they don't have long stretches where they're bad, right? D-Wade, Shaq, and then they had a season or two, and then they were back at it with LeBron. LeBron leaves, they have a year off, and then they're back at it. So I think that you need players in place that are core players to keep that moving. If you get rid of your young core to win now with 34-year-old Jimmy, Donovan Mitchell, which isn't necessarily the youngest guy in the world either, I guess you still have Bam, so I guess, but I like the core of Bam, Jaime, and I don't want to hate on Tyler Hero, but I've always thought that he would probably be the one to go in a trade. But I think that outsiders are going to start asking for Jaime now. And I don't know if I'm comfortable giving that up.
Let me ask you this, and it's, again, another off-the-topic question, but I'm just going to do it to piss someone off. What are your thoughts on Duncan? Would you move him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would. Look, I think Duncan, and I think that he has really come into his own this year. He isn't that spot up three shooter, right? If you can't close out on him like you used to. And that two-man game that he plays with Bam, I think that he's great at that. But respectfully to Duncan, there's a lot of guys that can do what he does. Look, Joe Harris to me, he does that in Detroit. Did it for Brooklyn a lot of years ago. Like there's a lot of 3-and-D guys. Not 3-and-D, but guys that can hit that three and could also cut to the rim, a backdoor cut, or just play a 2-man game. I like Duncan, but no, to me, he's not one of those untradeable assets.
Gotcha. When we were just touching on the Eric
Who was I
Spoelstra,
pissing off?
the one coughing at the corner.
Miami runs on Duncan.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. And we were just touching Courtney there of Dolphins Diaries. Was just touching on her reaction to Eric Spoelstra's extension. So I'll let you go ahead and give your reaction to that deal. Did you like it? Is it deserved? And then we'll go on and move on to Neil.
Well, I think it's really funny how everybody's saying that they gave it to him right after his divorce was finalized.
That's what I said.
No, of course it's deserved, and I think that he's not getting enough credit for Coach of the Year this year. You can't be one of the top teams in the East, and I know that yes, you lose like 3 games, and all of a sudden you go from like 4th to 8th. I know it's congested, but at this moment in time, they're one of the top teams in the East, despite like they've collectively missed over 120 games. Jimmy Butler has missed a boatload of games. Like other teams, if you look at the teams that have missed 120 games, it's like throughout the roster. They've had their top 3 guys missed a bunch of games, and they're still in it. Could you imagine if they were healthy this whole time? Like, I don't think Coach Spo gets enough credit, and I think it's because when people look at the Heat culture, they look at it and they kind of give credit to the franchise overall. I don't think Spo gets a lot of credit because they give it to the machine that is the Miami Heat, to Pat Riley. And I think that that's goes to the detriment of Spo because he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves because they give it to the franchise as a whole. And it sucks. But yes, 100% he deserves it.
No, that's a great point. We all love Coach Riley, but I think that's pretty fair to say is that Riley gets a little too much credit that Spo should be getting as well. Neil, man, your thoughts, brother?
Dude, it was amazing, man. I mean, it's like I just feel really lucky, that we get to cheer for an organization that is going to be able to sustain excellence for a long period of time in the future. And that's exactly what this move was for me. I mean, I know we cheer for other South Florida teams that aren't as fortunate as the Miami Heat, but it's just great to know that the Miami Heat are going to make great decisions because they have the right decision makers at the helm. And extending Spoelstra like that, and I mean, it just means that there's just going to be 8 more years of competitive basketball, if not finals appearances. And I love that, I mean, they're like, while Spoelstra's getting an extension, other coaches are like losing their shit in the locker room and getting fired. And I love it. I love it. I just love to drink the tears of the Lakers fans and, the other fan bases out there who just aren't as fortunate as we are in the decision-making personnel department. And I'm really excited for the next 8 years because I know it's going to be better than the last 8 years. And who can say that? Who can say that, But we can because we're Miami Heat fans and, we got blessed. We got touched by the basketball gods and, we're just drinking from basketball god greatness, and I just love it. It's great.
Man, there's a lot of sus words going on in this show, boy. I'm telling you. Danny was saying something that got me almost started dying, and then he's talking about drinking. Like, what's going on this show, dude? This ain't East 10th Street, boy. I'm trying to keep it PG. Alex, Spo, man, talk about it.
This goes without saying, Bob, and we've talked about this for years, and I still say that Pat Riley has acquired a lot of people. Pat Riley's made a lot of moves. Yeah. I said this years ago. I think the best move that Riley has done was promote Spo and stick with him through thick and thin. He backed him up, and he made sure the best player on the planet knew that's your fucking coach. You're not going to replace that coach. You're going to go before he goes. And that's trusting someone because he is his mentor. He did develop Spo, and I'm not taking away from Spo who he is, because Spo made his biggest leap when he within himself saw that he needed to be the coach that he was. He can't emulate anybody else. And you saw that change. And it came after like the second year of LeBron. That's when you knew who Spo was. Because you had the young Spo with Wade and Beasley and Chalmers. And then you had championship Spo. And then I just think Spo got much more comfortable in his own skin. And he's reaching heights now that I know he's going to get a lot of the credit, but he is in the forefront of the development with his staff. And a lot of people don't know scouting and the personnel there. Adam Simon, Jack Kemmer, those are the guys that identify these basketball gods that we're touched by. They're the ones that are doing the hours, analyzing, scouting, and communicating. And you got to have an eye in basketball, like in all sports. You need to have an eye for talent, for potential, and also you need to have a realistic vision of where does this player cap off. Like, there's a reason undrafted free agents want to come to Miami, and there's a reason a lot of the rumors now that people don't touch Miami's undrafted players, because especially the Lakers are not going to touch another Miami undrafted player ever again, because every time they go to LA they get injured. So there's a reason you overperform, and people talk about respect to the media, to the nation, to the national media. Obviously, they're always going to have a thing against Miami, always, because the Heat don't leak information. They talk to local reporters. They have access to local reporters. But in the basketball world, everybody respects Eric Spoelstra because they know who he is. That's why, and he's still humble enough. Don't get me wrong. He was an assistant coach for the USA team. I believe he's going to be the future head coach of USA basketball. I genuinely believe that. And because I think this is going to be Steve Kerr's last run with USA basketball. So people like to compare now the monetary to Steve Kerr's next contract. Yeah, Steve Kerr has 4 championships. Steve Kerr's a championship coach, but he doesn't even come close to developing and the adjustments that Spo makes. You can coach superstars. You can manage superstars. That's what Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was a manager of superstars. Was he a great coach? Yeah, he was. But also, he obviously had Michael Jordan. He had Scottie Pippen. He had Shaq. He had. You can say that about any coach. If Pop doesn't have Tim Duncan and Manu, he's not going to win those championships. So coaching is managing personalities, managing egos. So overall, when you break down coaching, Eric Spoelstra is hands down the best coach in the NBA. And he has the security now, and also the franchise has the stability. Assistant coaches, scouting department. As long as Spo is there, there's one voice. There's one vision. And it's just going to be continued success. Are there going to be bumps on the road? Of course. Are injuries going to happen? Yes, they are. That's the nature of basketball. And you just keep going and going. But
So,
rightfully so.
Alex, Anthony Manzano is in the house. We appreciate Anthony for always tuning in. But he has this statement here, and he said he'd like to get everyone's thoughts on this, but I'll let you start. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think in order for Spo to get the respect he rightly deserves, he needs to leave Miami and be a coach somewhere else. He's over. So I guess since to get past the Godfather, Pat Riley.
Look, I'll tell you this, Anthony. There's a mindset that in coaching, sometimes you want to achieve it on your own, and you want to go out there and see if you can do it to prove it to yourself. Kind of like a player. Can I win it without this teammate? Can Kobe win it without Shaq? And that mindset, do I believe Spo can go somewhere else and be successful? Absolutely, I do. But I also believe Spo's success is due to the nature of the organic growth he had within this organization. Like, there's a reason Andy Ellisberg has been here for 27 years. There's a reason Jack Kemmer has been one of the scouts for 20 plus years. There's a reason Spo started from the video room all the way up. I wouldn't say there was rumors always that Portland was trying to hire him away. Obviously, he's from Portland. So there was rumors that a few years ago, Portland was offering even the president of basketball operations to try to get him away from Miami. Also, there's a level of respect there's a commitment from him and loyalty to the organization. So I don't see that ever happening. And I think he's already exceeded the level he's already above Pat Riley's shadow. He's no longer in Pat Riley's shadow. Like, Pat Riley's still the Godfather. So there's still this aura.
I think he's the best coach in Miami sports history.
Huh?
I think Spoelstra's the best coach in Miami.
Oh, he will when he retires.
Yeah.
Miami
When he
Heat
retires, Spo will be the best coach in the Heat history and Miami sports
in
history.
Miami
over
sports.
Shula.
Yes.
I was gonna say no.
That
Yes.
Shula's a more emotional aspect because of Dolphins, but
Shula's
long
emotional.
term,
But if you look at Shula, he didn't maximize. I'm not going to shit on John Shula too much, okay?
Well, we're going in now, boy.
One, he didn't maximize Dan Marino at all.
that is true.
At all. Like it wasn't easy back then. I'll give him that. But didn't get a defense and didn't get a running game and just let Dan try to do it all on his own and wasted Dan Marino's entire career.
It's also harder to win in the NFL, though.
What's that?
It's harder to win in the NFL.
I mean, but here's the thing, and I accept that. But I will say that Shula won, obviously, the greatest championship of all time, okay, the undefeated season, which is an unbreakable record, in my opinion. So Shula's always going to have that. And then in 73, they were able to repeat. But I think you have to also look at that and say, well, why couldn't he keep those guys together? How come all those guys left, too? You know what I mean? I mean, he was still kind of running things. That's a criticism on Shula. But also, it's just that was it pretty much for Shula's legacy in Miami in 72 and 73. If you look at Spoelstra, he has kept going in decades, winning. Like it's at a high level and making multiple championships after that. And because we had real good success in the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, when he was a part of the organization. Then he comes on board as the head coach. He's winning in the middle teens of the 2000s, and now he's winning in the 20s decade. And it's just going to keep going. You know what I mean? Just more finals appearances. Eventually, you're just going to have to give him that title.
So let me. I'm going to let Danny respond because Danny, unlike all of us, he is not a Dolphins fan. He is a New York Jets fan. So it's an unbiased opinion. Yeah, I know. No, it's all good, bro. We all got love here, brother. But no,
Really?
he is a Jets fan.
Oh, back
so, but
connection. We lost.
Yeah.
We lost
Oh no.
Oops.
But no, but it offers an unbiased opinion. He is a Heat fan,
right?
So you would think he might lean one way over another. However, you look like Danny. You're pushing on this.
Yeah, I think it's Shula. In the NFL, to me personally, I think it's harder to win when you have 55 guys, that you need to have compete and win. And yeah, he had Marino, and maybe he didn't capitalize like you said, but Spo had LeBron, and he wasn't able to get 4 titles out of that. He got 2. And I mean, that OKC, I understand that they won it, but that game 2 was a little questionable with the late game foul calls. That could have gone a completely different way if OKC goes up 2-0. I don't want to take, and I don't like having these debates because it feels like you're taking away credit from one of them, and I don't want to take credit away from Spo. But I think what Shula did in the NFL is harder to do than what you do with LeBron on your team. Because when you have LeBron, Wade, and Bosh at that time, was like the real first super team you see. I think that that helped boost Spo with those 2 titles and those 4 NBA Finals appearances. Now I think that he got a lot of credit back and a lot more respect the last 2 NBA Finals appearances that he made, especially last year's. Last year's, I think, is when he cemented himself. It's like, that's it. I'm Spo. I am the best in the NBA. I think that happened last year. Yeah. But to me, it's harder to win the NFL. And because of that, unless he goes off and wins another 2 or 3 titles in the next 10 years, unless he does that, I just couldn't give it to him over Shula.
Can I add one thing, Bob, before we go? Well, and I'll make it quick. I think in this town, the Shula's a name. Shula was Miami, because we didn't have the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins. Now we didn't have the Miami Heat. This was a legit, and arguably, which is insane, there was a time that was bigger than Miami Dolphins. Yeah. So even Shula wasn't as popular as Howard Schwarzenberger. Is that how you say his last name? I always get his last name wrong. Schwarzenberger or Howard?
We'll roll with that, Alice.
Well, that was perfect. Schwarzenberger. Herron Gardner. There's a thing about Shula that
I think.
Yeah, he's
I think it's Schnellenberger.
Schnellenberger. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. There's a reason that Shula's always going to be Miami, but to Neil's point, and it's not about maximizing Marino or not. Shula had some down years towards the end of his career, where Miami was always hovering around 500. Marino, I know he tore his Achilles, so there was situations there. But in the aspect of is winning in the NFL harder, absolutely. Then obviously people are going to talk to the Bill Belichick argument. Has he won without Brady? And then you're like, whoa, wait a second. Is Bill Belichick not one of the greatest coaches? Like, yeah, but if you remove Brady, I love when people always play these hypotheticals. Like, those are the things that you can never know for sure. But I love the conversation, because I've never seen a head coach get other head coaches fired with the frequency that Eric Spoelstra does.
Yeah,
Because
probably like
Budenholzer
what?
last year lost his job because of Eric Spoelstra. And
Yeah.
I'll go hands down and say it. He just
Definitely.
outcoached them. And I know it's the staff too, because Chris Quinn doesn't get a lot of credits. But this is my last point. I think Spoelstra could be one of the greatest head coaches of all times in the NBA. I'm not even going to do the Miami thing.
100%.
He already is. Yeah, he has to be, right.
But in NBA history,
Yeah.
One of the things that will limit his win total is when does he decide to just remove himself as head coach.
Yeah.
That's the timeline that I've always been tickery with. And the more Chris Quinn stays, and I just have a feeling that it might be when his kids are teenagers, and to enjoy that, especially now with the dynamic that he just got divorced. And that's been really tight-lipped. We don't know the situation fully. So I just want to see how long he actually coaches before he just transitions as president, because he will be president of basketball operations.
Yeah,
I believe that. Andy Edison is still VP. Adam Simon is still high eye. But I do believe at the end, Spo, when Pat Riley retires, will be the head of basketball.
So this kind of reminds me of a topic we had on East Century Boys. And it was kind of funny because it's Shula and Spo. And I will say, for Spo to be really in that conversation, because we all know what Spo has done with these players. You look at Jovic, you look at these other guys that they've grown and gotten the best out of these guys. And go back to the finals 2 years, without LeBron and with a beat up Miami Heat team, and what he was able to do last year when they didn't give us a chance. I think there is a conversation to be had. I think the conversation is more if, like Danny says, I don't know if it's like 2 or 3, but if we're talking 1 to 2 more championships,
absolutely,
especially with a team like this that he's developed, that's a conversation. And Courtney, the reason I'm going to put you up, because just get your reaction off what we're talking about, but also a conversation Alex and I had, and it got me and him agreed on it, but it lit everybody up on the viewers, was who's the greatest, or I think it was the greatest Miami sports athlete. And we both said Dwayne Wade over Dan Marino. I think Dwayne Wade, if you think Miami sports, and it's kind of the same questioning of Don Shula, Pat Riley, Don Shula, and Spoelstra. So you've been listening to all of this, so I want your reaction, your thoughts, and then who's the greatest Miami sports athlete?
Duncan Robinson.
Everybody knows me. I go off emotion. Your logic means shit to me when I've made up my mind.
That's
at least we know now, guys.
It's not insanity, because I know that I'm doing it. So people don't come with logic. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I know I'm not being logical, but it doesn't matter. Nothing you say to me will get through. It's Don Shula. I don't think that there's a question of debate. I suppose a great solid number 2. I think there's nothing wrong with being second place. But I don't think that the perfect season, the legacy that Don Shula has in the NFL in the 80s and 90s was just a different beast. You have 52 men, you have the cap space. There's just more factors. And I think that he embodied it. Yeah, towards the end, it didn't go well. But I think that everything that he did, that he built, and the legacy that he has, I don't think in my mind could ever be touched. And I think Spo is building a similar legacy in the NBA. He has that, but I think just the Dolphin in me and just the deep-rooted history of Shula, nothing could take him off of the number 1 spot to me. But I think that Spo has earned his spot as number 2. Number 3 is Jimmy Johnson. Argue with me all you want, but I think that what he did for the U. That's my
Fair enough.
That's my top 3.
Ooh, I like that Jimmy Johnson take.
I think
Yeah, it's double. That's double.
And then as for the greatest Miami athlete of all time, I would need weeks to debate that. Like my gut,
A big board.
I mean, because my gut wants to go with my favorite Dolphin player of all time, but that's just a personal, that's my man.
Xavier Howard?
No, he's my current favorite Dolphins player. Oh. My all-time is Cameron Wake.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we're talking about
love Cam Wake.
I don't care. Don't. If you think that I'm psycho with Xavier Howard, don't even. That's tame. That's tame. Cameron Wake. If there was a restraining order, it would come from Cameron Wake. And Cam Smith this season with Eli Apple.
Oh, don't start that. Oh gosh.
I think Cameron is great, but you know who else was phenomenal as just Larry Zonka.
For sure.
I don't think anybody's done what Larry Zonka can do for his position.
He's also just a great person.
I love him. I follow him on Twitter. Yeah. But I'm biased, and I would go football over basketball players too. Football's my number one, so it's hard for me to. I think football, the toll that your body takes, I think you just are a little bit more. But I would need months to decipher that one. That would be hours long of a debate with somebody.
But you see, that's a perfect epitome of what I feel that is every conversation, because with Dolphins you have generational fans, and then you have that emotion attached to the city when there was nothing in the city. So I'm not saying it's biased or not. It's a legit.
Absolutely biased.
It's a legit argument that people have that I think that we're going to be able to do that maybe 20 years from now, because Heat fans, Marlins fans, Panthers fans are really still in the first generation. Like, we saw them as kids. So now my son, my daughter are seeing the team through my eyes. So it's kind of like us as Dolphins fans, where we even seeing the Dolphins through our grandparents' eyes. So those generational fandoms, it builds that.
Fan here. I'm a first generation Dolphins fan, and
oh, that's true. That's true.
I come from Steelers and Lakers.
That's true. Which are historic franchises. You see, those are the things, man. It's funny because
all-time athlete would be Kobe Bryant. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, in the NBA, it's Kobe. The Jordan, LeBron, it's Kobe. But that's just what I grew up in. It's Kobe wins.
And you see, I like that argument. Best overall athlete, because now you're going into the Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson. Now you're going into the stratosphere that is just natural athletic ability. That's a cool conversation to have.
So just his mind and how he prepared and practiced, and if you just he encompassed to me sports. He encompassed hard work, dedication, championships. He was the encompass of it all.
Bobby, I gotta speak up for D-Wade right now.
Go for it, bro.
Okay, listen. And I respect anybody's opinions about who they believe is the best Miami sports athlete of all time. But
Messi,
in my opinion,
that's a good argument.
He was waiting on it. He's kind of shaking. He's looking he's waiting for it.
In my opinion, objectively, it's Dwayne Wade. And this is why it's Dwayne Wade, okay? In my opinion, before the 70s or after the 70s, okay, Miami had not won a pro championship. Well, if you had the Marlins, you're the Florida Marlins, okay?
UM, really. That's it.
That's not a pro championship.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
college.
pro.
That's college. I'm talking about a pro championship, okay? And in baseball, but baseball's faded, in the light now. And
Josh Beckett, Dontrell Willis.
It said that Miami did pick up those Marlins teams, okay?
Yes.
Because they did, all right? But after that, it was just a desolate, barren wasteland, okay?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It was almost like act of betrayal. by the
after the Romans destroyed Carthage, they poured salt on all the land so nothing would grow there. And that was Miami, okay? Amidst the beautiful tropical paradise and beaches and sunlight, it was salt and nothing was growing, nothing was prospering. But then there was a man, okay? And he came from Marquette, all right? And the thing that he did with that basketball, okay, were glorious, all right? The battles with the Pistons, okay? That finals, okay? That 05-06 finals.
Yeah.
I will never forget watching Dwayne Wade just take over and dominate and score 35 points a game, okay, as like a second or third year player. I think he was a second year player.
Third year.
Third year player, okay, just doing things that only Michael Jordan had done before. Okay, all right. And he made the Miami Heat what he was the foundational building block for what the Miami Heat organization is, okay? And there are very few players in any sports franchise that could do that, okay, for a franchise. I would argue that, I don't know if Dan Marino really did that for the Dolphins. Okay, I don't, because he never won a championship, and his greatness only lasted while he was there. It never continued going, okay?
Well, he changed football. He did change football.
Well, yes. Okay, that's fair. But there were other prolific passers too in the Marino era. Well. He came in with other prolific passers, so I think he was a part of that. It wasn't just him though. Dwayne Wade changed the culture. He was the foundational building block to Heat culture. He was almost the physical embodiment of it. Him and Udonis Haslem. So like when we talk about the greatest Miami athletes, and I put them all and I look at all of them together, in my opinion, nobody had a greater impact than Dwayne Wade. They call it Wade County. Like we named the county after him. It wasn't Marino County. It was Wade.
I know Danny wants to respond. Go ahead, Danny.
Dan Marino has a boulevard.
I'm glad that you said it's not Marino County, because I think that what a lot of people have is a little recency bias. Alex was saying we lived through it. If they would have both started their career in 2013,
yes,
Dwayne Wade played, I think it was 16 years, Marino 17 years. If Marino plays up until 2020 during the social media era, and I know he doesn't win a championship, but I personally think Marino in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins, if he has the same career from 2003 to 2020, I think he's miles ahead of Dwayne Wade, because the NFL and the Dolphins are so popular here, because having success in the NFL is so difficult, people to understand. I think that if you put those side by side and they happen at the same time with social media and all those things considered, I think Dan Marino ends up being more popular. But because it was so far back that, I'm not going to ask you guys how old you are. I'm 38. So I didn't really get to appreciate Marino's greatness. I saw the latter end of his career. I got to see all of Dwayne Wade. So I understand why it pulls at my heartstrings, the D Wade over Marino. But when I try to take a step back and really think about it, I think if they played at the same time, I think Marino is the greatest athlete in Miami history. And I do have a question that you guys might not like, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would LeBron not be up there? He won 2 MVPs. He led them to those 4 titles. He won the Finals MVP twice.
He was the best athlete to ever play for a Miami franchise. He was. That I granted.
Yes.
But in longevity, Heat player or Miami player, like he will never. He's not even above Zoe.
No, it was only 4 years. Right.
Exactly. But he is the most talented athlete to ever play for Miami franchise. And Messi now. Messi's also in that argument.
Messi's bringing relative. Wow, I'm blanking on that.
Relevance.
relevance to Miami soccer now, because now he is literally
It's
the
true.
greatest player
And
of
to
all time
MLS.
in the biggest sport in the world.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's here in Miami. And me, as a soccer fan, I never thought I would see something like this right down the street from my
I bought
house.
a jersey. I bought a jersey. When
No,
Messi came here, I bought a jersey.
I'm in Philly. Like, I'm in Philly. I'm in Philly. The amount of kids here who went out and bought Messi jerseys.
Oh yeah,
It's ridiculous.
My 6-year-old asked me for a Messi jersey, and he's never seen a soccer game. He just so many kids at school were wearing them that it like exploded up here too. And I had to Google. I'm like, I don't even follow soccer. Like, I was like, who's Messi? And I had to like Google it, and I was like, oh, great, more Miami.
Wait a second. Did you just say you had to Google who's Messi?
I don't follow soccer. I don't follow baseball.
No, but
I don't follow hockey. I don't follow.
wow. But Court, that's like someone like that doesn't follow basketball. Like, you know who Michael Jordan is?
Yeah,
He's a cultural icon. You have to know who Messi
I know
is.
who Jordan is because I grew up in a basketball household.
Okay.
My family never played soccer.
Yeah, but Messi is. I mean, I get that because, but Messi's almost like a name. Like again, you know, you say Hulk Hogan, you know who Hulk Hogan is, even if you don't know wrestling. You know who Hulk Hogan is.
But
No.
You know who? Oh, okay. I'm about to say, dude.
I'm blinded though. If you're not,
Court the latter. Duncan Robinson or Messi?
I don't know you. If you're not football, basketball, I couldn't name you 5 baseball players, and I'm sure that there's some that people are like, "Oh my God!" I know the one who played for the Phillies, Bryce Harper.
Okay, let me ask you this, guys. Don't say nothing. Hold on, guys. All right.
Really though.
Let me ask you this. Hold on, guys. Don't say nothing. Don't. Babe Ruth.
Okay,
You know who Babe?
I know who Babe Ruth is.
Oh, okay.
Now
Well,
you're just being an asshole.
well, no, come on. You know, it's a Barry Bonds. You know who Barry Bonds is?
Yes,
Okay. All right. So you know, come on.
but I didn't. But you have to like, you can't get mad at somebody because like,
No, we're not. We're messing.
Soccer is so. To Court's point, soccer's different, man. It's yes, the iconic soccer players. To those, I know most of the iconic soccer players, but I also lived overseas for a while, and I kind of grew up in the culture. In the United
He's
States,
the owner.
in the United States, they only recently started getting the international soccer
Yes.
out there. You know, but to the Messi point, when I was in Spain on vacation, the Moroccans on the street selling wares were selling Inter Miami Messi jerseys, knockoffs.
Well, there's
Hey.
Miami jerseys all over the world right now. You can
All over the world. Dude.
worst part
Barcelona,
of Colombia.
I was seeing
and
Messi
they got
jerseys
'em.
everywhere in Barcelona. Inter Miami.
And that's the thing. That's why it was such a collective effort, kind of like when Beckham came. And Messi is like when Beckham came, but on steroids. Because the USA is going to host a World Cup with Mexico and Canada.
Yeah.
So US is really promoting and getting in the game of making soccer and try to make soccer a national sport. Is never going to be as it is in Europe, but you arguably have
the pay-to-play structure here sucks.
exactly. But now,
That's what it is.
and I tell you this firsthand, in our local parks, after the World Cup, there was more kids on soccer fields than on baseball fields, than on football fields, than on basketball
That's been
courts.
happening for a while now.
And you see it growing organically in the United States. So that's why it was a collective effort to get Messi, Adidas, MLS, everybody. You wanted him over here because he's gonna go to Nashville. He's gonna sell out that stadium. He's gonna go anywhere and sell out that stadium. It's Messi.
It's the traveling show, dude. It's almost like the Beatles, dude. We sold out every away arena, dude.
Let's round it back. Let's round it back here. Touch back on Heat, and let's talk about the Eastern Conference for a minute here. Eastern Conference has about 8 teams with 20 plus wins. I mean, you know, obviously you got the Celtics at number 1 at 29-8, Bucks 2, 25-12. Then the 76ers 23-12, Pacers 22-15, Knicks 22-15, Heat 21-16 right now after losing to the Thunder. Cavs and Magic right there at 21 wins as well with 15-16 losses. Danny, I'll start with you, man. Looking at the Eastern Conference, and I know you're going to wrap it up, but looking at the Eastern Conference, have you ever seen it like this before? And if is out of the, you know, we know some teams are contenders, pretenders, But looking at this Eastern Conference, who's in your opinion for real?
Well, the top three, I think that everybody expected, right? The Celtics, the Sixers, and the Bucks. I think that those are the real contenders, and I think that he can get in there if they could ever get healthy. I mean, they beat the Bucks last year, they beat the Celtics last year, and I know that Christmas Day Joel Embiid didn't play, but I mean, I think that they did a good job standing up to Philly. But I mean, I won't count that. I think that he have a chance to compete and be those top 4 teams. The Knicks are surprisingly better than I thought they would be. I thought that Julius Randle would be out the door by now, but he's actually picked it up. I never believed in the Orlando Magic. I think they have a good squad, but I think that they're a year early. So I'm all on those top 4. I think that those are going to be the top 4 at the end. Again, Bucks, Sixers, Heat, and I'm forgetting somebody, and Celtics.
And let me get this from you. And I know you're dying out there. Heat scouting Bronny James. That was out there, man. What's your reaction to that?
Do you believe that?
No,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that either.
I will tell you, Heat's very tight on that type of stuff.
Right,
I know they got a picture of one of the guys right behind there. So yeah, your reaction. What were you to say? Sorry about that.
No, sorry. I personally, I don't believe it. But if they are, like, I think that LeBron coming back here, because if Bronny comes, LeBron's coming, right? That's the deal. It's a package deal. I don't hate LeBron coming as a free agent because it's a player option. It's not a team option. So he walks for free. He signs here, and he takes a pay cut to play with his kid. Are you hating getting to keep this entire? Because remember, we're talking about trading for Donovan Mitchell, and we don't want to do it because we don't want to give up these pieces. All of a sudden, LeBron's like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll pay for these couple million. I play with my son. And all of a sudden, you got the current team plus a LeBron James. Yeah, he's 40 at that point. But a 40-year-old LeBron with this team, okay, let's do it. And what better team to develop his kid? I'm sure he knows that also.
Yeah, and notice that I think LeBron has been a lot more showing love to Miami Heat and the organization lately, more expressively than he has before in the past. So
the way he congratulated Spo on
it kind of raised me an eyebrow because again, yeah, maybe the Heat were watching him but the Heat are very tight-lipped about what they do and who they're really looking at. But when I saw that, I was like, that would be such a Heat LeBron thing to do, and they kind of go wink, wink. Hey,
that'd be awesome.
It would be great. Danny, man, where can people find you? The Battered Network. Tell us about you, brother, and then you can wrap it up.
Yeah, well, the Battered Fans Network. We got Miami shows. We got the Marlins, Battered Heat, Battered Phins. I'm forgetting one. Oh, Battered Herons. So Inter Miami, which is probably the funnest one we do because once Messi came over, we got people from Bangladesh that watch live. Like it's really
awesome.
wild.
That's awesome,
like,
bro.
We were just live right before I got on here. We had like 120 people watching live from all over the world. So if you want to have a good time in a chat and just find out who Messi is, go ahead, jump on. Battered Herons. It's a good time. We go on 4 times a week. But yeah, we do the Phins, we do the Heat, and we also do some New York teams. But I'm not even going to promote that because you guys don't care about that. But but yeah, and we have a good time. And Battered Heat comes on Thursday at 10 o'clock. We're actually giving away 2 tickets to the Sacramento game. So if you are watching this, all you got to do is subscribe to the Battered Heat, right? Because we want you guys to watch us also, right? Spread the love. And you watch the last episode, or at least comment on the last episode. I want ticks, and we're gonna do a raffle or one of those little spinning wheels to choose the winners. Giving away 2 tickets, 100 section. I think it's like row 30. So it's nice. 2 seats. So yeah, join the fun. It's a good time. The Battered Network. We have fun. We're all Battered fans. I think the Heat are the least battered of the shows that I do, but got to stick with the brand, so I had to go with it.
It's great, brother, and a lot of love for you and Manny, man, and it's a blast having you on. And I hope it's not the last time. You're great.
No,
that shirt.
Likewise.
Got to figure out where you got that shirt. Send me a message. Let me know, dude, because that's a.
Batterfans.com. I don't.
Oh, is it there? There you go.
Perfect.
Easy enough. There you go.
Yeah. I see you got Caneswear here, so I want to
Oh, you're good, dude.
Oh,
you're
good. You're cool, man. You're cool.
But
You're a guest,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, but batteredfans.com. We got shirts for all the Miami teams, and like I said, New York teams also. But we got a bunch of Miami teams for all the sports teams, and we got a cool Udonis Haslam shirt dropping next week. We got a Jaime shirt, and we just plugging along.
There you go.
Man.
All right, man.
I appreciate you for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you, man.
Good luck, man. Much love, bro.
Battered fans, appreciate him coming on. Oh man. All right. So continuing with it, and I'll let Courtney start this with the Eastern Conference, how tight it is. Again, Celtics at the top there with the Bucks and the 76ers, Pacers, Knicks, Heat, Cavs, Magic, Josh Wingate's team there. Any of those teams out there, which ones do you think are for real and which ones are you kind of like, I'm not worried about them?
I think the standings are pretty I think the Heat can move up. I think the Heat will definitely be top 5 in the Eastern Conference. This is an unpopular opinion, but I think the Sixers are going to fall a little bit out of the top 5, especially with, I don't think Embiid's. He's hurt, isn't he? Hurt?
Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
So I think he's always hurt. He's like the Jimmy Butler of our team. So but I think it's gonna be close. I don't see the Celtics moving too far from the top, unfortunately, moving forward. But I see the Heat going into 5, at least the top 5. Probably like 4 or 5.
And it's 76ers. It's a great team to point out that might fall out.
But they're gonna fall a few paces.
Absolutely. And the Knicks, I feel, could be a team that will fall down a little bit. I still think they're a good team.
They're on a 5-game win streak, though. So.
Yeah. Pacers, I like the way they're looking. The Magic, of course. But I think 76ers are one of those teams. Neil, what about you, man?
No, I agree with most of what we're all saying. I do think the Miami Heat are going to be a top 5. I think they can end up being the 4th, maybe even seeing how far the Sixers fall. They always have a late season collapse, it seems, so maybe the Heat sneak into number 3, but the Bucks and Celtics are going to be 1 and 2 in some form or fashion. Okay. I really do like the Eastern Conference has steadily been getting better over the years. And for some reason, I feel like they're even better this year than they were last year, which is crazy because I liked the East a lot last year because I love the Pacers and I love Tyrese Halliburton is balling. Okay.
Yeah.
I love, and I know he's hurt right now, but when he comes back, I expect him to keep balling, and I love seeing his game. Okay. And, the Knicks, I do think that OG trade was really good for them. And I think that it's made them a more consistent team, which is what they were missing. Okay, I thought the trade was fine for Toronto too. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I like OG on the Knicks because I really do like. I don't know why I can't remember that point guard's name. I love him though; he's badass.
Brunson.
Yes, dude. I love Jalen Brunson, dude. I wish Jalen Brunson was on our team. Sadly, it is what it is. Can't go back in time and fix that. But Jalen Brunson is awesome. And with OG, they're doing some cool things. We still own them and we'll own them in the playoffs. It is what it is. But they're still, it's an exciting team to watch, but I do think the Heat are going to climb up in there to that 3-4, maybe at the 5 spot. I don't see us being another play-in team this year. I just think that we're too confident and too talented, okay, for that to happen again. And we're younger with the acquisition of Jaime, and Duncan's game has evolved. Which is crazy because I just love seeing what Duncan Robinson did. Today was an outlier, actually, going 1 for 8.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
It was an outlier performance. He's going to be he's shown us over the course of this early part of the season that he's making consistent threes, and his rim game has just gotten so good, and the 2-man game is great. So just having Duncan be more consistent, and Tyler healthy, and just Jaime just being, Chet is going to be the rookie of the year probably, and then Wembanyama would probably be second place. But dude, Jaime is like a top 5 rookie of the year candidate. Okay. And that's not a stretch to say that. and I really love seeing where he's at. So yeah, dude, he can beat any of these teams. Okay, even if we're the five. The thing with the Heat, and I think all of you would agree, and anyone objectively, dude, we just have to get in. You know, like
I said it last year. I told Alex when the Heat were like basically crawling into the playoffs, the regular season was just almost a disaster. But we were in that play-in, and I told Alex, we had that discussion on East Texas Boys. I was like, and off on the phone on ourselves, I said, dude, this team is a better playoff team than it is a regular season team. And I felt like they could make a run, and they did. And I still believe that now. And this team is better than what that team was.
This team is better. So that's what I'm saying is I wasn't a believer last year. I'm on the bandwagon this year on that. Just get in, you know? Just get in, get a mid-seed. Jimmy will be healthy, and then they're just going to ball, you know? And nobody wants to play Miami in a 7-game series.
And this team, you know, Jimmy had to play some killer minutes when they went to the finals against the Lakers. Last year, he played a lot of minutes. With this basketball team right now, currently constructed, he's not going to play 45 minutes.
No.
A full 40. He's going to be able to go off, and the rest, Jaime is going to be able to give him some time, and the Heat will not miss a step.
No.
Alex, man, quickly, man, I know before the season, you and I talked on this. I said 5-4. You said top 3. The way that it's going right now, the way you're watching these teams playing, do you still feel that's the case? Or it's like, no, man, you know what? Pacers, Sixers, Magic, that might be a tougher, you know, task for Miami to get the top 3.
I still got Miami. I actually got Miami finishing 3. I do believe regular season Boston and Milwaukee will stay put. I do believe Philadelphia will come down to 4. Indiana's going to drop naturally now. Halliburton might be missing a month with his injury. So this is the time before the trade deadline where Miami has to make the move and climb up the standings. The fun part is that you're only 2 games out of the 3rd seed. So those are the things now. I generally, you know what? I have a feeling playoff time where the Magic and the Pacers are going to mess someone up. They're going to mess some teams up. And I do believe if the Pacers slide, maybe it's like the 7th or they're a playing team, which I doubt. There'll probably be 5. Well, yeah, there'll probably be a playing team if they're in the 6th, in the 7th, 7 through 10. If the Magic, I know the Magic are going to get in. If the Magic match up with the Celtics are going to have a hard time with the Magic. They have no interior defense. Celtics, yeah, have a nice balanced attack, but Milwaukee has no perimeter defense. So come playoff times, that will show. Coaching and experience. If you saw, they hired another assistant coach. When you have a rookie head coach and a veteran team, that's a very problematic situation. Kind of like what's going on with the Lakers and Darvin Ham. So if the matchup of 1 and 2 being the Celtics and the Bucks versus a matchup of, let's say, the Magic and the Pacers or the Magic and the Cavs, that is troublesome for that. So matchups will matter. With Miami, I do think we're deep enough that we can beat any of those teams because we can match up in all facets. We can match up defensively. We can match up offensively. Coaching, we can outmatch them. So all we have to think about is health. And that's why I think with the Jimmy thing, at first he thought it probably was like a stress fracture. So that's when he said those comments that he thought it was worse because whenever you have one of those that you have no mobility, it's either a stress fracture in your ankle and your foot. Those kind of like the Michael Jordan injury in 84, 85, his second year where he missed like 60-something games. So they're just being very cautious, and you have the depth to do that. So just get healthy. Don't rush him back and just play it out. You climb now. You stay 1 or 2 games, 3 games out of the 3rd seed. But I do believe Miami will end up as the 3rd seed in the East.
So we'll go to that final topic on Heat scouting Bronny James, and obviously me and Danny touched on that.
Yeah.
But I do want to answer Anthony's question. He says, for you guys, would you rather the Heat draft an international player, a college player, or a high school player, or G League player? With the league going international, would you prefer international? I'll answer first, and then I'll let you guys just go ahead and quickly respond if you want to. For me, it really depends on the player, but international is sometimes a great way to go just because those guys are playing more pro ball level type of basketball compared to college. If it's high school, it has to be a phenom type player. But for me, international player kind of ranks a little higher But you might get a college player like Jaime out of UCLA, or Jovic, who's international. Alex, quickly, what do you think?
I still say best player available, and that fits what you want and who you are as an organization. That's what people thought. Well, Jaime dropped to 18. People are like, oh wow, they're gonna pick Jaime at 18, and now people are like, holy shit, they picked Jaime at 18. And
Well, Jovic at 27.
at 27. So I've always been a big believer, especially in basketball. I don't like drafting for needs. I don't believe you draft for needs. It happened to be that Jaime Jaquez was the best player for us, and it was a position of need. But I always go, when you have a solid team like we do, I always go for best player available. And basketball with Miami is positionless. So best player available, depending on your time frame too, you can get away with a developmental player, but you see the talent, you see the ceiling there. And even when he mentions a high school, I do believe they're going to go back. I believe that's part of the next collective bargaining agreement, where you might be able to come straight out of high school into the NBA like they were before. Because I don't know if they're doing it for Bryce James when he comes out, which, by the way, Bryce is going to be better than Bronny. But Bronny does fit the Heat type player and selection wise. So that could be interesting when we talk about that.
Neil, your preference?
I agree with Alex, and I think this is kind of what our thinking was when we were watching the draft, is that yes, best player available is always the more prudent way to go. If you have a team that, is a good team and the needs aren't so glaring, which luckily we had. I do understand the argument that towards international players over high school players or G League, because they playing professionally, and you want those guys who can come in with that sort of mature mindset and who are willing to put in the work because they've been around people who are older than them, and I think that's the problem in the college game right now. And I think that's why college basketball is suffering a lot, because you don't have college vets anymore. Everybody's all young and then they stay for 1 year and then they're gone, and so they're not coming out of college mature. But if you can find a guy like Jaime who was there for 4 years, look what happens. They're NBA ready, which is amazing, but he's such a rarity these days. So best player available. And now I think the question should be, does the best player available tend to be college, G League, or high school, and I think, or international. And so I think lately, right, we're seeing the international players be more best player available than the college players. So I think that kind of switches up a little bit.
Courtney, your thoughts on that? Would you prefer
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's the best player that you need.
And,
unless you have a severe, like Neil said, severe glaring problems that need to be corrected, I think it's best player plays.
Yeah, and that's fair, and that's fair, and I think that's I think Miami knew, and it wasn't really best player available. Miami knew the type of player they wanted, and they zoned in, because if it was best player available, was it Cam Whitmore? Might have been that case.
That was potential. That was what I was saying.
Yeah,
Cam Whitmore's
right.
Potential. Yeah.
When I, for instance, when I was watching, because first off, I just love drafts. First off, NBA draft, NFL draft. I go to town on that stuff. NFL draft, I'm in it right now. Funny enough, I am also, I have whatever. And that's what I do. And so when the NBA draft, when it became closer to NBA draft, Alex knows this. I get into it. I'm sending him players. Dude, watch this guy. Watch this guy. Watch this guy. And
he's like a scouting department.
Yeah. I'll tell Alex, watch this. And Alex will give his take to me, and me and Alex have a lot of internal, outside of the shows, debates, and not really this, more of, Bobby, he's not this, he's not that, but Alex, look at this. And so for Jaime, when I looked at Jaime, I saw Jimmy Butler. And Alex, I've said that. I said, dude, this is a poor man's, and it might not even be that right now. I said, dude, I see a poor man's Jimmy Butler. When Butler comes off the floor, this guy comes in and makes up for it. And, I saw a Heat player. With Nikolai, I saw potential. That's the thing about international players. They have a pro style. They play a pro style game on wherever they're coming from. But also, I don't know what it is about international players. A lot of them have that superstar potential. They all have that untapped potential.
I'll tell you more after that when you're done.
And I will
I'll tell
say
you more of that.
there was like one of those players for this year. I think it was this year. Calabali, Bilal, French. He was a French player, I believe. That dude was somebody I was like, that's untapped potential. I think that dude could be one of those hidden gems in a couple seasons. So for me, when I'm watching or start going into homework on draft players for basketball, my eyes go straight to, or when I'm going down the list, are those international players. I'll write down their names to go ahead and try to find something on them to start watching. And then I look at other players, the kind of size, needs, potential. But go ahead, Alex. What were you going to say?
Well, there's no coincidence that if you go right now, the list of top 5 NBA players or top 10, they're mostly international players because the international game is very different from the American game. Now, they don't put limitations on size before. They don't do this anymore. But before, American basketball you were pretty boxed in. If you were this size, you were in a 4 or 5. If you were small, you had to be a point guard or a shooting guard. So whenever you do that, especially to kids at an early age, you limit their development because they never work on handling drills. They never work on the shooting drills. It's just post up, rebounding, boxing out. International basketball, you have 6'10", 7 feet doing the same drills that point guards are doing. The only knock that there's always going to be, because international players are always 2 or 3 steps behind defensively because they're not as aggressive defensively. They're not sound defenders. So that's, if you notice, that's the lag part when you have an international basketball player like Joker. Joker took a few years to develop into who he is right now, which is arguably the best basketball player in the world. Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic came. He was a natural scorer, but what was his knock? Defense. And there's another 6'8" guy, I think from Slovenia too. I forgot his name right now. But there's an international overtaking because basketball is becoming, if it's not already, an international sport. Very diverse, very different styles of play, but the international game is much more attractive than the old school American basketball. That's why now we have high scoring, and they come from battle tested. They're playing in environments that are chaotic. So nothing does anything here. So you're good playing in American arena. You're fine. So they're just more battle tested, and they're more offensively gifted. But you have to work on their defense. That's it.
All right. So we're about an hour and a half in, and just remind everybody who's watching, whether you're watching Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we appreciate you all watching. You're watching the Goon Squad on the Phins Talk Sports Network. You got Courtney, catch her on Dolphins Diaries. She talks everything, not just Dolphins. But she's here on the Goon Squad. You got Neil, Alex, and myself. Of course, I'm everywhere on the Phins Talk Sports Network. Courtney is most of the time everywhere too. Just drop the link. You were pretty. I knew you got excited when I said that. I was like, I made that little graphic. And
it's pinned to my page. Like
she was like, oh, I was like, yeah.
You gotta make another one for her. It's personal. So like after you give your
opinion,
it's personal.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
I come with the disclaimer.
Yeah,
that's right. It's awesome. But I'll start with Courtney on this, and then we'll go around, and then we'll wrap it up. This has been great. I'm very excited about doing this again. But we touched on it a little bit with Danny with Heat scouting Bronny James. That report came out, and my question was, could we see the return of the King in Biscayne Blvd? Notice I didn't say South Beach. So it's Biscayne. But Courtney, could this be the start of the return of the King James, to Miami? And would you be open to that? What are your thoughts on a possible reunion with LeBron James if we bring in Bronny?
I don't know if this is – I feel like every team is looking at Bronny. I feel like it's not just the Heat. It feels a little too leaked because the Heat are tight-lipped about everything they do, and I just can't imagine that this would just spill out in the media outlets. And they'd be like – I feel like it feels like a Bronny LeBron kind of play. He's more deterred from a real. I think the Dolphins have really triggered me into not believing a single possible leak of somebody coming because it never actually pans out and it never actually works. But It just feels. I'd be open to it. I mean, I think LeBron has already come out and said that he wants to play with Bronny. Like wherever Bronny goes, he wants to go. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that he'll do everything in his power, and he has a lot of it, to go wherever Bronny goes. I think he would love to go back to Miami. I think that would be a phenomenal story for him. Round out your years down here. But the story feels too planted. It's something about it.
Interesting.
Interesting. Every team is looking at Bronny.
Of course.
Because of who his dad is. So for it to be like, oh, Miami's scouting him. Yeah, Miami and every other basketball team.
So the real question, which you say you're open to, LeBron, if LeBron were to come back to Miami, you'd be down for that.
I'd be open to it, yeah. But I feel like we wouldn't even have a choice. But wherever Bronny's going, I think any team needs to understand that LeBron is going as well.
Who's the microwave?
That's my mom.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like a fire alarm. I was like, what's going on?
That's Vinny Johnson right there from Detroit.
I was like my teenager. I was like, what is he cooking?
Neil, your thoughts, man. Would you be open to that?
Oh, man. I mean,
can you open yourself up to him again?
You hurt me.
I knew it.
You did. He broke my heart.
Bob, you could do a cut up of all the words that we said in this show. From he's gonna wrap it up. He broke my heart. You heard me?
Forgive me, guys. I'm gonna say it. I gotta say. Was it? What did he say?
You gotta get it.
Run. Get it? Yeah, I gotta get it in. He said rim. He said it runs on D. I'm like, I'm going. Oh God, Bobby, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it.
Where's HR? Because I feel.
Yeah.
Hey, when this show is over, you just need to do like a 2-minute recap, and it's just all the words that we use that are sus in the whole podcast. Just do it over.
That's it.
No, I know Tanya's going like this. Stop it, Bobby. Stop it. I just know what she's doing because I really want to say it. Go ahead.
I'm never gonna forget where I was when he left. I was in an elevator at the old building off of. I was working at this defense lawyer's law firm. It was this old building on Dwyer Avenue. It was this rinky-dink elevator, and that's when the article pops up. And you could hear my heart shatter on the floor of this little shitty elevator, and it hurt me. And so, like, when there is a chance that he could come back, I mean, it's not the same LeBron coming back. He's still playing at a high level, but like, when is that going to happen, right? Not Bronny's going to be a one and done. So like next year, I guess, if he's even a one and done, he could stay another year, especially since, he hasn't really played a full season or won't have played a full season. So, I mean, I'm getting LeBron at like 40, for what? Like, so he can just play with his kid and not, I guess he'd probably still be, he's so good. He probably still would have impactful minutes, but I don't know if Bronny's worth, having, and is LeBron going to want LeBron money at 40? Probably.
No, LeBron has said that he would take a pay cut to play with his son.
He's going to take like a vet min, you know what I mean? Like, all right, like then, yeah.
And I would think LeBron, even though he says I want to play with my son, I think he would want to win with his son. So if he would want to go to a winning situation with a strong roster. And even though first of all, LeBron at 40, none of us are going to be in that shape at 40.
No,
let's just be real.
He's probably still going to be. He's going to be at I don't know about high level. I mean, maybe, but I want to see that. I wouldn't rule it out with LeBron. So vet in LeBron with his son, who could develop into something decent, because I don't know what Bronny's ceiling is. I've seen a lot of his highlights. I'm not that excited. Okay, maybe you guys see something that I'm not seeing, but like, he's okay. But his heart issue is kind of concerning. I mean, I don't want to, get too much into it, but anytime that happens to somebody on a basketball court, that gets kind of weird, and like,
and that might be why everybody's scouting him, as Courtney has brought up, but it might be why Miami's also scouting him too, because you think of Chris Bosh.
You think of Chris Bosh, because look what happened with Chris Bosh. Like,
every time I played with Bosh with 2K with my son, and with the Heat, and it rose. I was like, man, what could have been, dude?
What could have been with Chris Bosh, bro? I mean, that was what could have been. But there's so many questions with Bronny right now. But I guess, look, to answer the question, not beating around the bush, I think it would be worth it to have LeBron on a vet min with his kid on a rookie deal and just see what happens. It's good, but am I like jumping for joy, or do I have to have it? No.
Alex, wrap us up, man. What are your thoughts? Oh, you're muted, Alex.
Sorry, I have a two-part because I see. Am I down for LeBron James coming back if we draft Bronny or we sign Bronny or we acquire him in the second round as a second-round pick? Absolutely, because I have him penciled in as my starting point guard. I'll start him next to Hero, Butler, Jovic, and Bam. I got no issue whatsoever because his game has aged just like we thought it would. His game has
True.
aged well. Now, don't get me wrong, what he's had to do, I do believe that there's always going to be this part of him. At this age, the Miami plan was he was going to be the creator. He was going to play in the like 30 minutes, 20 something minutes where he has a surrounding cast. He's had to carry the Lakers now, which this is another topic for another show, man. The Lakers have mismanaged his time there because they should have won more championships. They should have had a better core around him and AD. They've wasted 3 years of LeBron's career, really. Prime years that he still had before. I mean, he's still in his prime, but
I
there's
think
no prime
LeBron
with him.
wasted 3 years of LeBron's career, just like he
Absolutely,
did in
absolutely.
Cleveland. Because he has a lot. The Russell Westbrook trade, he had a lot to do with that.
Exactly. Exactly. So those are the things that it comes down to. I don't like the LeBron the GM. I like LeBron the player. But aside from that, Bronny, seeing him play, there's a lot of things that you see defensively that he fits the mold of a guard. Because now he's 6'4". Do I think his brother's going to be better than him overall? Absolutely. I do think Bryce James, when he fully develops, will be much better than Bronny. Because Bronny grew another 2 inches, so he's like 6'4", 6'5". So he can be like this combo guard. His shot is pretty decent, and his athleticism is at LeBron's level, obviously for his size. So aside from him being Bronny James, if his name was John Doe, I do believe the Heat will still look at him as a player in the second round, undrafted free agents. But like you mentioned, there will be teams that I think Bronny James' draft stock will go up automatically just due to the fact that he's LeBron's son and the possibility of LeBron coming to play for an OKC. Is he going to be a top 10 pick? No, I don't think he will be, but he will probably draft it higher than he normally would because any team will take that hit if it means getting LeBron for a year. Just on ticket sales, jersey sales. I mean, the NBA would love it if it's a small market team. If it's like an OKC or like imagine a San Antonio, and then you have Wembanyama, LeBron. It's crazy what they could do.
Can't even hold me here, dude. No.
So I'm
Just for
down
Neil.
for it. And honestly, like you mentioned, what better team for LeBron to come back full circle, end his career here, and develop his son. So and it's been the relationship
And put
has been
his son
repaired.
in the hands of the Heat, who could probably get the best out of Bronny for where he may be.
And with his heart concern, I'm not really concerned about that because if there was any legit concern, he would have not been cleared to return to
And I
USC.
think, his parents probably would never let him.
Especially
continue.
LeBron,
especially in their situation, LeBron, greatest, So
which is insane when it happened. We actually have one of our players this year missed 2 months because he wasn't medically cleared. They discovered that he had an extra valve in his heart.
Wow.
So he had to go through a series of tests to make sure that valve wouldn't activate while he was performing at high. And he's never been tired. He's never passed out. He's anything. It was just an anomaly that they found, and they did the depths because a lot of these physicals exams for these kids at high school levels should be more intense, more profound, and they're starting to do that. A lot of EKGs, a lot of heart exams, because you're pushing your body to your limits, and it could just be like the Hamlin situation last year. It could have only happened that millisecond, and it happened. His heart skipped a beat. Boom, he gets hit. Instant goes into cardiac arrest. That's just your luck of the draw, which is insane, but it can happen to anybody. So it happened to Bronny James. He was cleared, and now that's why you see him also lethargic. He has to get back in game shape. He hasn't really been playing for almost 6 months. So little by little, you'll see Bronny will start improving as the year goes on. So you're going to start seeing that murmur and those talks of him being one and done pick up.
There you go. Man, all right, we're going to wrap this up. Good first show.
He said it again. He said it again.
I'm glad you're being safe, Bobby.
Wrap it up now. All right, so I'm going to end the show. Bunch of dirty ass adults we got on this damn channel.
I'm a lady.
Yes, Bobby.
Sure. Sure. Whatever.
It's personal.
It's personal. Yeah. Hashtag. All right, hey guys, thank you all for watching the Goon Squad on the Phins Talk. I almost said Miami Heat. On the Phins Talk Sports. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I gotta go. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, for the culture.
For the culture, baby. Go Heat.
Go.